Hey guys, Synthetic here, and welcome back to the series where we try to make Ricciardo world champion despite starting every race from the back of the grid. And as you can see, we are here for the Italian Grand Prix, and as always the qualifying doesn't really matter too much because we're starting from the back. And here you can see the race setup or the strategy. We opted to go for the one stop, starting on the softs and finish on the super softs. It's also the setup I used in AOR. It's quite good in terms of stability, which is really important, especially when the tires are worn. And here we are for the race. We have 5 red lights, and it's lights out and away we go. It seems that we got a decent start of the line, and we were able to gain the first position already up into P19. But we have to be very careful in turn 1 because it's easy to get your wing destroyed there, so we have to brake a slight bit earlier, and there was a bit of contact, but I think it was fine. We were able to already gain the first 2 positions into P18, and at this point we tried to find clever lines, trying to make a few positions stick, because overtaking here is not as easy as you would expect, as you could saw in my AOR race, so we have to be very careful. But fortunately we have Fernando ahead of us in the McLaren, who shouldn't be too quick on the straights, and you can see we gained quite a bit in his slipstream, and we are already able to get alongside Magnussen in the Haas, so another 2 positions gained. Next up ahead was Ericsson, and we took in his slipstream now, and we get very close to him, and you can see there are 3 wide ahead of us, so especially in turn 1 we have to be very careful because there might be a bit of contact, and we also have to give Ericsson on our left a bit of room. And we got quite a solid launch of the second corner, but we got blocked by, I think, Hulkenberg or Palmer in the Renault. So unfortunately we lost the position to Ericsson as well, but at this point we try to do a cutback, and it seems that it worked quite well. But unfortunately Hulkenberg tries to defend the inside, and in the first last move we have to back off because it's very dangerous to try a move there. So we take the inside line for the second last move, and fortunately we were able to make the position stick up into P15, and our low wings seem to work quite well because we were able to gain quite a bit on the straights compared to Hulkenberg without slipstream. And at this point we had a slight gap to the cars in front, so we pushed, and in lap 3 we were able to close the gap to Kvyat, and we already try a dive bomb on his inside, and we are using our high downforce car to good effect. And next up ahead was Palmer. Let's see whether we are able to gain enough on the straight. It might be very close, but it seems that we are close enough, so we try to make a move around the outside, but you can see that there was a yellow flag, so we have to let Palmer back through, otherwise we would get a penalty. So we have to fight back again in the next corner. Let's see whether we are close enough. It's very close, but are we able to make a move? We try it, we go around the outside, but fortunately it turns to the inside in the second part of the chicane, and we were able to make the move stick. And next up ahead was Sainz, and I think he was on worn super soft, so our tires at this point should work very well. And again our low downforce setup and the slipstream is really working well. We go to the outside, and we were able to get clean around the outside and brake very, very late. Give him a slight bit of room if he tries to dive us, but he decides not to do it. So up into P10, lap 5, so quite a solid start to the race. Massa is ahead of us, and he will be the next to overtake. And again we wait till we get the DRS and the slipstream onto the main straight, and it should be quite an easy move here, despite the Mercedes engine ahead of us. And you can see it's quite a simple overtake down the inside. And another position stick next up ahead is his teammate Stroll. I was quite surprised when I saw him ahead of Massa, but never mind. And you can see as well that there are a few cars battling, so we might have a slight chance to take advantage of that, and we are going around the outside of Stroll, and now we tried around the outside of our teammate, and it seems that he got onto the curb, which cost him a lot of time, and we were able to get his position as well. So up into P7 now, and next up is Ocon, who should be quite quick on the straights, but you can see that we are gaining so much time, and again we're going to the outside, and it's quite a simple move. We were able to spot the braking point quite nicely, and another position gained. Next up was the Haas of Grosjean, and you can see it was very difficult to get closer to him on the straights. We weren't really gaining too much. Maybe he was on rich mix, I don't know. And we also set personal bests nearly every lap when we had clean air, so good signs so far. You can see we went out of the slipstream because my plan was to dive into the Parabolica, because we get the DRS and the position as well. So yeah, another move made, and we are up into P5 already, and ahead were only the two Mercs and the two Ferraris. But here you can see something really surprising, and it put me off quite a bit. You can see that Lewis had a problem with his car, so yeah, he lost a lot of time there, and we fortunately went into P4. And here you can see a few of the leaders went into the pits onto the medium compound tire, so they will go to the end, and it will be very tricky for us to get closer to them. And at this point we tried the overcut. We tried to drive as fast as possible in the last few laps, so we can have a realistic chance to still gain some points. But I think the first two are probably too far ahead, but we have to see how it goes and how our pace will develop over the last few laps. And it seems that we got out in P4 behind Kimi, and it might be interesting to see the gap, and we'll see it in just a few seconds. And I think the Super Soft should make it quite comfortably till the end. The tire wear isn't too bad on this track, and you can see the gap is 6.5 seconds, so we pushed really hard in order to catch him, and I think we were just about a second per lap quicker, and we were setting a few fastest laps in the meantime. And here you will see my fastest lap in general, and I will leave you with the lap, and I hope you enjoy, and yeah, I will talk to you after the lap. And here we are now at the end of the lap. We were able to close the gap further, and we were just a few tenths shy from the DRS, but a lap later I think we were close enough at this point, and we had much more grip compared to Kimi. And at this point we try to get a good run out of the Parabolica onto the straight, and might be very close. Maybe we can try a move from far back, and it seems that we got really close, and we are going for the dive bomb at this point in turn 1. And yeah, we made the move sick, just like Daniel Ricciardo did in Monza earlier. And yeah, at this point it was just about saving the tires at the end, because Vettel was too far up the road. So yeah, we get another podium, which is a decent result here. I think Valtteri ahead was able to win the race. And yeah, ahead of Sebastian we got P3 and our teammate P7, which is not ideal. And in terms of championship, we are leading by 46 points at this point, which is very solid. And that was the race. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next one as well. Goodbye.